is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another video about the Chicago Bulls. And as you can tell by the title, Isaac Okoro, a guy that has that Jimmy Butler, Matisse Thybulle type of hype around him right now, being a guy that's known for being a wing that can defend multiple positions and is a hard defender. And when you look at a lot of the places where he can fall, Chicago is one of the big ones. Chicago already has guys like Kobe White and Zach LaVine that can score and get buckets on their own. And they are very dangerous because they can get hot from the three-point line and give that floor spacing also, even if they offer the ball. And when you look at this team, you look at Otto Porter, a guy that you would say that the Bulls won't need Isaac just because Otto Porter is a guy that can play multiple positions, shoot the three, doesn't need the ball to be effective, is improving as a playmaker and a passer, and they traded for him. Obviously, they wanted to try him out, and they feel like he can be a great fit alongside this team, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Plus, his contract is high. Looking at what he brings to the table, he's a quality guy. He is a starter on a lot of teams, but is he that winning player? Can he ever develop into an elite defender, which he hasn't been able to do, and he's only getting older. And even though he became an elite level marksman in Washington, a perfect complementary player to John Wall and Bradley Beal, he hasn't been that so far in Chicago. He has mostly been a guy that has been an impact player when he's on the court. He just hasn't been able to continue to stay on the court, and the team has been bad. This is a team that got beat up by injuries, and it will be good to have a good addition, especially when you have guys like the Wendell Carters and the Chris Dunns that are great defenders on a team that needs defense because they give up a lot of points and they have a lot of mismatch problems, and you will want them to see and have guys that they can go to play great defense. Plus, we don't know the future of Zach LaVine. Will Zach LaVine be on this Bulls team for a long time? Will he even live out the rest of his contracts? Because they haven't really done anything since the Jimmy Butler trade. They've been bad. And even though you can give Zach LaVine a pass for the first couple of seasons because he was coming off an ACL injury, and of course he wasn't going to play the same, he wasn't going to be the same, and he had to readjust and get back in shape, in NBA shape, I should say, he didn't play well. But he has shown that he can be an all-star caliber guy at his age and his style of play, but his style of play hasn't went for winning. He hasn't been able to help the Chicago Bulls get over that hump. He hasn't been able to put together, and you could say injuries this year for a pass for him again. But even when he was with Minnesota, he tore his ACL, and even when they all three of them was averaging around 20 points, they really wasn't winning any games. And that's a knock on Zach LaVine. Can he be that winning player? Can he be a guy that can really lead a team? Can he really do it on the court, on both sides of the court? He has the mobility, he has the athleticism, he has the quickness to do it. And he hasn't been able to put it all together just yet. But like I said, he is young. He still is recovering, even though he played outstanding this year. And now I'm wondering what happens next. Because when you look at the Bulls roster, they have a lot of the positions filled. They don't really need a specific player. If anything, the Bulls will draft best talent available or trade it as an asset to possibly get that point guard if you think Kobe White is a guy that can come off that bench and be a bucket getter, which he has shown he can do, but he's going to give up a lot of plays and he can be hot or cold depending on the game. And that's a guy you really don't want to rely on if he can't do it consistently. You don't have to worry about with Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine efficiency has been good, even though he has a shot selection that a lot of people don't like, and even though he does give up a lot of points because he's not the greatest defender. But at the same time, you have to have something. And even though a lot of people think that Jimmy Butler, they gave up on him too quick, he made it to the playoffs with a Dwayne Wade and a Rondo that his best players, and that was enough. And this team hasn't even really got close to that level, and that was an okay to mediocre team at best. but they still got to the playoffs and actually went up 2-0, and people do forget about that. And this team hasn't even came close to that with more floor spacing, more three-point shooting, and more ball handlers. They haven't even came close to winning. And then they went young. They tried to add some veterans here and there. That didn't work. They tried to rely more on their main guys. They couldn't stay healthy, and it wasn't working even when they was healthy. And then you would think they're in the Eastern Conference. You don't even have to win 40 games to even make it to the playoffs, but they struggling to even win 33 to 35 games, and that wouldn't be enough. But that shows you how hard it is to win in the NBA, and it shows you how far the Bulls may really be from being a legitimate contender in the East, let alone a playoff team, which they haven't even been able to do in these last couple of years. So the Bulls find themselves in a tough position. They need a change of culture. They need some guys that can come in and really take pride in defense, lead as a defender. I like what they have with Chris Dunn. Like I said, I like what they have with Wendell Carter, but they need another perimeter defender. And I think Isaac Okoro will be a perfect fit for them just because if Zach LaVine can move up if they want to do small ball, at least you know with him and Dunn or at least one or the other, you can literally stop and slow down certain players. I'm not saying Okoro is going to be an elite defender right away. We've seen the same thing happen to DeAndre Hunter. Everybody, Jared Culver, these guys got to get adjusted to the level of the physicality. Their body got to grow in a span. And then you still have to develop on the offensive end so you're not a dud and a liability and really a pain, on the offensive end to where you making the lineup in the offense worse. And we seen that with Thibault. People didn't like Thibault because they couldn't really score a lot. And then he started improving a little bit more and started helping in other areas. And I think that that's something that the Coro should really figure out. What can I do? Can I get more rebounds? Can I just, find a way to play all ball and get some cuts and set some screens so guys can get open? Because like I said, Kobe White and Zach LaVine can handle the ball. Plus, if they get a screen, they're not scared to pull it, and that can get them buckets, and that can get him moving. And if he's moving, the defense got to be honest, and the defense got to be honest. They got to pick their poison on how they're gonna defend. And if you get multiple options and multiple things happening, that can make you tougher to guard. The problem is that Jim Boylan going to do these things. Wendell Carter, like we know, hasn't been used properly. Laurie Market has been beat up. This probably was worse than his rookie year, and that's sad because he mostly played on the perimeter. He couldn't even stay healthy this year, and he's a perimeter player, but he's not known as a defender. He gives up buckets, and you got to eventually find out what you're trying to do with this team. This team has been together for 3 years, and they have never had that much success. So you eventually gonna have to figure out who's coming, who's going, and who deserves to be the cornerstones of this team as you're getting closer to paying a lot of these players like Laurie Market, and you already paid Zach LaVine, and these guys are going to start eating up your salary cap because you paid Otto Porter too, because you traded for his contract, which was already a lot of money. So they try to go win now. They try to find ways to stay young, and all these things ain't working. But one thing they have forgot is who they are. These players, only really two of them outside of Zach LaVine, I mean, not outside of Chris Dunn, are really playing their proper roles. They're playing and guarding and defending the way they should. Everybody else is figuring things out. They're doing things on the fly. Sometimes they freestyle, and sometimes they play hero ball. And you can't win that way at a high level in the NBA. So I think that the Chicago team going to have to look at that. Where do we need to go? Who's going to run this team? Is Jim Boylan really going to take this team to the next level? Can he find a way to utilize and get the best of every lineup that's out on the court, which he has failed to do? They have a lot of things to figure out, and the main reason why is a big deal because it's Chicago. This is a team that's been bad. This is a team that got almost close. This is a team that was a dynasty, and they haven't really got that close. They never been to the final since Jordan, which we done seen with the Last Dance. They haven't been to the final since. That's almost 30 years ago, guys. So that's unacceptable, and that shouldn't be happening. You should at least got to the finals again. But they have had injury problems. They had bad luck. They had bad management. They had bad development, and a lot of that accumulated to failure. Now, with this young talent and a lot of these players being up and coming and trying to make a name for themselves, they lost sight that this is a team game. They lost sight that they need to play together, and they need to find out how to do that. You could blame it on the coach. Fred Hoiberg got them to the playoffs. He found other ways to be different than Tom Thibodeau, but both of those coaches didn't work. Now you with Jim Boylan, and it don't seem like he really even knows what the team's supposed to do sometimes, and he doesn't get the best out of his players, and he doesn't put them in the positions to where they can succeed, not individually, but as a team in a whole on both ends of the court. And I think Isaac Okoro is a guy that can come in and really give them that punch that they need, give them that other defender that can guard the different positions and want to get the toughest matchups. And like I said, with Wendell Carter's anchoring them in the paint, it would be ideal to have wing defenders and guard defenders that can give you a different look, that can give you a different style of play, and really take pride and really want to go out there and defend the best of the best in the world, which is the NBA players. So I think Okoro will be a good pickup for them. Like I said, they don't really have another wing defender outside of Chris Dunn. And he really don't guard the forwards, and Okoro possibly can. And then when you look at the roster, you really don't need no other position to fill. And I know people gonna say, "What about Otto Porter?" Otto Porter has never been a great elite defender, and even though he has the size and the athleticism to do it, he didn't even do it in Washington. And his job was really to be a transition player, a decent playmaker, and a guy that can snipe from the corner. Now he did a lot of that besides the defense part, but he hasn't been able to do it at the defensive part, and he hasn't really added more to his game offensively. He became a little bit more free in Chicago, but that hasn't really worked out to wins. And he at least got to the playoffs with the Wizards. They've been far away with the Bulls. So I really want to see what this team can do healthy. I really think they should go for a defender in this draft to give them a different look, like I said, to give them a different type of style. And even though they might not be starters, it would be good to have guys that you can rely on, even if somebody goes down in an injury. You can still have a guy that you know can get the job done, that's willing to do stuff that the other ones won't do. And you need those guys that can be glue guys to hold things together, to patch things up, to make things look a lot better, and hide deficiencies of guys like Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen, whether it's keeping guys at bay at the perimeter, making sure Zach LaVine doesn't have to guard the other point guards or shooting guards that's better than him, or he just can't guard. It would be good to have another piece like that, and you don't really have that on the roster already. And when you look at this draft, it's not one player that the Bulls should go after, because like I said, when you look at their starting lineup, they have all those positions filled besides point. And at the end of the day, they can go with a Cole Anthony, they can go with a Killian Hayes, and guys like that if they want to go with an offensive guard. But they have a lot of offensive space and players and ball handlers already. Do they need another one that doesn't really fix any of their problems or fix any and patch up their holes? And I think Okoro can be that guy. But let me know what you guys think. Can Isaac Okoro fit on a team like Chicago? Should he go to a team like Chicago? Do they just need to get rid of Jim Boylan? Is it the team? Is it the health? Is it that we just look at them on paper and overrate them because they are a young team and they still don't have that much experience playing on the court as a full starting five? We don't really know. We can't really make excuses. I'm just trying to understand where they're coming from. I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt because they did have a beat up year. Even though they was bad, even when they was healthy, they didn't really get the chance to master what they trying to do. And I do blame Jim Boylan for that because that's his job as a coach, to make players better, get them in spots where they can succeed and utilize them to the best of their full potential. And he doesn't do that in Chicago, which is also the GM fault for hiring them. And it's the owner fault for allowing them, hiring and allowing him to keep them. So it's everybody. So I just take shots at everybody because it's fair. But at the same time, that's it. Like I said in the beginning of the video, my merchandise will be on my Facebook page. Also, my spread shirt. Also, like on Facebook to show support. That will be in the description. And if you are liked on Facebook, thanks for the love and support. Like on YouTube, thanks for everybody that liked already. If you haven't liked already, please like and share. Also, like I said, usually I do basketball videos every day. I even break down players and rookies, rookie analysis breakdown. So you like videos just like this, and at the same time you like to break down footage, I got that covered for you. I also cover Summer League. I also cover the NBA draft. I also cover the preseason. I also cover free agency, trade deadline, playoff predictions. Every day I make a video. So if you love basketball, this is the channel for you because I give you a different look, a different analysis every single day. And I try to, give y'all some fresh content, even though I do a video every day for the month and for the year. So it's a lot of work, a lot of pressure, and a lot of stuff that a lot of people are starting to do. But I've been doing it, and I love doing it. And if you love that and you love these content, why not become part of the family and subscribe? Other than that, Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone.